Hi, my name is Prerna Ravi, and alongside my collaborators and advisors from MIT, I will be presenting our work on co-designing large language model tools for project-based learning with K12 teachers. Let's consider the case of Miss Carter, who is a dedicated high school teacher. She has been noticing that her students' engagement and interest levels have been low for these past few weeks. She decides to implement project-based learning after hearing that it fosters creativity and deeper understanding. Inspired, she redesigned her curriculum, encouraging students to tackle real world problems through hands on projects. However, within few weeks, she finds herself overwhelmed. Managing group dynamics, tracking progress, and assessing open ended work proved far more challenging than expected. As students struggle with self direction and deadlines, she questions whether she has made a mistake and if she should revert back to her previous pedagogical practices. This anecdote serves as a powerful illustration of the aspirations and challenges that many educators face today in classrooms. It encapsulates the tension between the desire to foster deeper, meaningful learning experiences through project based learning and the practical constraints that often inhibit its implementation. Miss Carter's story highlights the need for support that is both practical and transformative. This narrative is the very motivation for this work. We first investigate the current demands and challenges PBL poses to teachers today. We also explore how AI driven tools, co designed with educators, can bridge the gap between the ideal and the achievable in PBL. We contribute design guidelines for the future of PBL LLM tools. Our research aims to empower teachers like Ms. Carter to rekindle the joy of learning in their students. We started our first study with surveys and interviews to gather insights into the teachers' demands and challenges in implementing PBL. This was followed by two co-design workshops. The first centered around problem brainstorming, an intro to Gen AI, and the storyboarding of Gen AI solutions. And the second one was focused on conceptual prototyping of these tools with discussions on their ethical impacts and classroom integration. This process was conducted with 11 expert PBL teachers. Study 2 engaged 30 additional PBL teachers with varying levels of expertise. Workshop surveys and polls were used to collect their experiences with AI and PBL. Additionally, small group discussions explored their perceptions of AI in collaborative learning and how it influences their roles and identities as teachers. The findings from both studies were integrated into the iterative development and testing of wireframes, showcasing our final PBL LLM tools. Here is a quick preview of our findings. To start off, our interviews explored the demands and challenges teachers face when implementing PBL. These included connecting open ended projects with diverse artifacts to concrete learning objectives and differentiating these project materials for students with diverse learning needs. Teachers also had to provide iterative, timely, and personalized feedback to every single student. The need for continuous grading and evaluation of these artifacts became time consuming very quickly. And finally, transitioning to PBL posed several challenges for both teachers and students, primarily due to its open ended nature requiring independent thinking. Now, let's explore how our teachers envisioned integrating AI into PBL. During co design, they brainstormed dream features for their PBL LLM tools. For example, a traffic light dashboard and bingo boards for final projects were suggested for tracking progress. To support student autonomy, they proposed letting students pick goals supplemented with teacher feedback and outlining the top three grading criteria. Personalized learning tools were also highlighted, including feedback tailored to skill level and aspirations, and additional timely resources based on strengths and weaknesses. For group work, they suggested features to monitor individual effort within teams and tools to ensure all members understood their responsibilities. Teachers created storyboards showing how an LLM tool could help them with their daily teaching challenges. For instance, PO5 thought of a scenario where teachers may need different learning plans to reach the same goal. This is because students have different learning needs. Assessments may also vary depending on the different learning styles and to prevent copying. But they must also be fair and address the same learning objectives. Generative AI can quickly create essay prompts or test questions, saving time. It can also brainstorm learning activities when teachers lack time to collaborate. Automating lesson plans lets teachers focus on feedback and student support. And this also helps apply universal design principles for inclusive, compliant education. Participants identified key stakeholders and their values when implementing PBL LLM tools. In addition to students, they address the potential benefits and harms faced by pre-service teachers and their coaches, special education committees, school boards and IT teams, as well as parents and their families. When creating their prototypes, participants outlined the types of data their tools would need access to, including educational standards, student profiles, and LMS integration, while ensuring compliance with existing privacy laws. They also explored the practical considerations for implementing these tools in their unique classroom contexts. These included maintaining reliable digital infrastructure, providing professional development training, facilitating parental communication, and addressing resistance to change from staff members. When they anticipated the tool advancing differentiated learning and increasing PBL adoption, they were also worried about the risks around workflow disruption, digital inequalities, decline in creativity, as well as LLM transparency and copyright. Here is a very quick preview of one section of the wireframes that emerged from these discussions. Let's assume a scenario where the teacher needs to plan and organize a project over multiple weeks. On entering week 1, they are brought to an AI powered lesson planning template that's already been aligned with curriculum standards they previously selected. Teachers here can systematically fill out this document with scaffolding from the AI agent. This guides them in filling out performance expectations, generating ideas for warm up activities and hooks as shown, and connecting these to driving questions. Teachers can also devise creative teaching strategies to scaffold complex concepts. They can also integrate these into knowledge check assignments to assess student learning and supplement these with exit tickets. Here, they are required to critically think through the topics for exit tickets, self-reflection exercises for students, and the types of questions they wish to include. Once this is complete, they can proceed with creating rubrics for these activities. They can input specific student artifacts for assessment and automatically populate rubric rows with competencies from the selected curriculum standards. They can further refine the criteria by editing acceptable standards for each rubric item and selecting a rubric type to suit their unique classroom needs. The tool also supports differentiation by generating multiple rubric versions tailored to students' IEP or 404 requirements. We synthesized all these insights to propose a set of design guidelines for edtech designers and educators when creating PBL LLM tools. We recognize that LLMs may not be suitable for all PBL tasks, especially those requiring nuanced evaluation of multimodal artifacts. We also note tensions between prioritizing tools that advance teacher learning and creativity while also reducing their administrative burden. Grading is a very good example of this. While automated grading may reduce teacher workload, it also strips away valuable teacher-student interaction. To add to this, LLMs may not be completely reliable for grading either. We draw on the gold standard PBL framework from the Buck Institute of Education when formulating our recommendations. Our first two recommendations focus on prioritizing teacher creativity and learning. Using design friction that mandates core interface inputs from teachers, we can ensure that teachers lead the project planning process while the LLM handles routine tasks on the side. This can promote high quality pedagogy while also providing the LLM sufficient classroom context information. Since teachers vary in how they structure projects, LLMs should support customizable timelines and scheduling when co-creating curriculum materials. LLMs could also help generate multiple project ideas for diverse student needs while addressing the same learning goals. Teachers can combine these into choice boards, giving students more agency over what they wish to work on. As seen in our wireframes, integrating LLMs into existing lesson planning templates from common educational standards can streamline the process of generating instructional context while also reducing the cognitive load for teachers. We advocate for the implementation of single point rubrics that require teachers to highlight strengths and areas for improvement instead of scoring performance levels. This can foster a growth mindset among students. Positive feedback can also help instill student confidence and promote balanced assessments. To secure student data when creating differentiated materials, LLM tools should either operate locally or be integrated securely within existing learning management systems to comply with privacy laws. Features supporting student groups can also help with ideation, ensuring equitable contributions, and alerting teachers when needed. Tools could also help students document portfolio evidence of their learning journeys, providing teachers with useful progress tracking data. We hope that this work encourages future research and development of AI tools that not only drive innovation in educational practices, but also foster a more immersive and constructionist learning approach in classrooms. Thank you.